Hey there, MJ traders and investors. It's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. Also home to the best MJ community on the planet. Today is Sunday, December 24th. Hope you're well. And in this video, we're going to be doing a holiday edition of rapid fire news updates for the period December 16th to the 22nd. And there's so much news that transpires over the course of a week, but this is just basically to go over what transpired over the last week. We'll go over all of the pertinent information and things that I think are articles that you can't miss, that you have to look into. It's not to go into a deep dive detail, it's just to go over a high level overview. And if you want to look into it, you can do so on your own time if you want to learn more. But as always, I try to keep it around 10 to 15 minutes. Let me know what you think of this new format in the comment section. Before we get to it though, make sure to smash the like. It helps support me in the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff, and you'll be notified on any future videos. Also, we recently signed up for Odyssey and Rumble, just in case we ever get silenced here on YouTube. And you can also follow us over on X, which is handle at Group POW. And again, this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment and informational purposes only. You should never ever buy or sell anything based on anything that I say or write. And I also just posted this short video on 1 week of MJ news. And this isn't all the news. Obviously, there's tons of news that I don't even post in the POW Group private community. And we also have a automatic bot that goes and fetches about from five to 10 different publications, right? Different media websites specifically for MJ, and it automatically pulls the articles. And then also I post in there, and then there's other POW Group members as well that post, right? But this is just an example of what I have to go through and kind of cherry pick. There is so much news that happens just in 1 week, right? And that's just MJ news specifically, right? PowBot MJ channel. So imagine, there's tons of news just, from a broader market perspective, but this is just MJ, and it really goes to show how much this industry, how much is going on behind the scenes, and a lot of people get caught up in the price, rightly so. It's been a brutal bear market, but I think we're going to turn a corner here soon. But there's been tons of developments with regards to research. The Colorado Institute of Cannabis research to embark on 6 new cannabis studies. So a total of $800,000 is being used to fund the new cannabis research initiatives. And this is going to be something, as we look to rescheduling, it's just an inevitability, right? It's a matter of when, not if. But once we get rescheduling, once we get, full-blown acceptance, the stigma's gone, we get, all these major economic global powerhouses like the US, for example, once they start to legalize it federally, then we're just going to see that much more clinical studies and research initiatives. And I can't wait to see what comes out over the next 5 to 10 years with regards to breakthrough research and studies and things like we don't even know that it could potentially cure or solve, right? So I'm very, very hopeful and excited for the decades ahead. Also, Canadian MJ insolvencies persist in 2023 amid industry woes. I mentioned this. There's tons of companies that continue to get just unable to keep the doors open, whether that be, there's a multitude of reasons, but whether it be through CCAA, whether it be through, bankruptcy filings, this is a trend that has been very troubling, and I think that is going to continue at least for the foreseeable future. I would say for the next year or two, especially until the Canadian government starts to ease up on some restrictions, right? We know they're working on a bunch of things right now. There's a petition to get it from 10 milligram edibles to 100 milligram, and then also improve excise taxes, which we'll talk more on that in just a moment. Also, Arizona MJ sales exceed 1 billion for the first 9 months of 2023. Wow, that was a staggering number, and just goes to show you what this medicine of the future is capable of. Also, MJ producer Cannabis sells skincare unit to Inspirit Capital for $15.9 million as the business continues to sell off assets and become an asset-light model and focus mostly on MJ and segments of their business that are driving profitability and growth and not costing them millions, and in most cases hundreds of millions of dollars, right? BioSteel, think of BioSteel. Also, marijuana will gain millions of consumers over alcohol, with sales hitting $37 billion by 2027, investment bank projects. So I 100% agree with this, right? It's not just a recreational aspect of it. It's definitely a healthier alternative to alcohol in terms of recreation. But there's also, like I said, tons of research, tons of clinical studies that are being done that from a medical standpoint, it's going to prove much more beneficial and, in my opinion, just going to one-up alcohol pretty much in every category because, like I said, it's medicine of the future. Also, Italian MJ reform campaign gains nearly half of needed signatures in 1 week. That is insane. Like I said, game theory playing out. This is only ever going to happen once, folks. So get with it, get with the program, or get left behind, because like I said, the train is leaving the station, if not has already left. And like I said, this could be the last time to load up at these rock bottom prices for the long term, right? The more countries, like the US, for example, is never first, they're never last. And once they adopt it, oh man, it's the cat's going to be out of the hat at that point, right? Also, Nebraska advocates report progress, continue collecting signatures for 2024 medical MJ ballot. We also have MJ producer Organogram reported a $248 million loss and a massive excise bill. So I did a video on this if you want to check that out. But again, you can see here that the excise taxes just continue to destroy these companies and their bottom lines, right? Just imagine what they would be able to do with that extra capital that's hitting that bottom line, right? Wisconsin could potentially legalize medical marijuana this session, top GOP senator says, as governor pushes broader reform. Again, game theory playing out. Breckenridge Distillery from Tilray awarded 96 points and receives double gold and gold recognitions at this year's 2023 New York International Spirits Competition. We also had MJ MSO at MedMen exiting Arizona and Nevada, which is interesting based on the amount of sales that we saw there in Arizona. And then obviously Nevada being a huge tourist attraction region as well. So not really sure how I feel about that, but let me know what you think of that in the comment section below. I think MedMen, I do own a small, very, very small position in my MJ portfolio. I think it's worth the risk. Could be one of those companies that really, if they're able to turn it around, the reward is absolutely massive. Also, and we know that Tilray has some convertible debt in them as well. So if we start to see reform at the federal level in the US, they could potentially acquire MedMen, which would be, I would welcome that in a heartbeat. That would be their into the U.S. market, and like I said, they're not really playing in retail at the moment, and that would be their opportunity there with return in terms of the U.S. market and retail. It'd be like a 1-2 punch sort of thing. Florida GOP senator files medical MJ industry tax relief bill as federal 280E workaround, and this isn't the first. We've seen New York, we've seen New Jersey governors as well. We're starting to see the writing is on the wall where states are starting to enact legislation and workarounds to get around this 280E. So that's why I think rescheduling is definitely going to happen sooner than later. I think it's going to be in Q1 or Q2 of 2024, and then probably we'll get some updates with regards to DEA maybe approving HHS's recommendation. It'll go to the DOJ for sign off, and then some other regulatory hoops and red tape, and then I think toward the end of 2024 we could see it enacted. But I think latest 2025. Also, Pennsylvania lawmakers approved bills to protect medical MJ patients from DUI charges, so driving under the influence. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this. This is always a touchy subject for me. Like obviously someone who's new to smoking or consuming the plant, they probably shouldn't drive, right? But for someone like myself, I've kind of become immune to the effects, right? And it doesn't really, I don't think it really impairs me. And then, there's people who who use it for medical ailments and whatnot, right? So let me know in the comments below what you think of this. Do you think that, there should be, these measures to protect medical patients? Do you think everybody should be banned from driving under the influence or when consuming MJ? Like I said, it's not really like alcohol where, it doesn't matter who you are. If you consume alcohol, it's going to impair your motor skills, right? But whereas MJ, it depends on the facts and circumstances, depends on the person, it depends on how long you've been smoking it, and how much you've consumed and how you've consumed it, right? Did you do like 100 milligrams of edibles, or did you smoke a J? What type of weed was it? Very low THC, more CBD. So there's so many factors goes into that. So I'd be curious to hear what everybody thinks about that. Also, about 7,000 adult use cannabis applications estimated in New York. And this is going to be a massive, massive market. New York and Florida potentially on the ballot for 2024. Oh man, giddy up. It's looking really, really good for those two states. Also, cannabis pop-up stores coming to my home province, Alberta, trade shows and festivals. I can't wait for this. I absolutely love living in Alberta. Only 5% sales tax. The opportunity here from a real estate perspective has been enormous, and I really do enjoy living here. I live in Edmonton, and I loved it. I moved here from the East Coast and from Prince Edward Island, and I absolutely love it here. I love the community. I love the MJ community. It's such a vibrant MJ community, and growth is staggering. And like I said, it's been an absolute pleasure living here, and love how we also had the first MJ restaurant open. I did a video on that as well. It's called CBD CBN. You can check that out if you want to learn more. But like I said, really liking what's happening here in Alberta, and I think it's only going to get better from here. Also, Tilray launches cannabis-infused premium Belgian chocolates with Chowie Wowie Edibles brand. I think edibles is going to be a huge push for Tilray going forward. Also, speaking of Tilray, we have second quarter 2024 financial results coming on January 9th, the morning of, and we also have a webcast, which is going to be at 8:30 Eastern time, which will be covering this extensively. I'll do a video review of the earnings and the conference call. I'll be joining that as well. Definitely. Also, Maryland adult use cannabis sales hit 56 million in November. DC sales dwindle. And then Rhode Island MJ sales top 100 million in year one of recreational retail. So you can get an idea of how much revenue and how much, how many sales, how many jobs, how much tax revenue this is going to generate over the next 5, 10 plus years, right? The opportunity is amazing with MJ, and the more states that legalize, the more countries that legalize, it's just going to be it's going to be a race, right? And like I said, the U.S. is never first, they're never last, and they're starting to get a glimpse of and a taste of what legal sales can do and medical sales can do, and it's only going to get better from here. Wait until we see mass marketing and Super Bowl ads and that type of thing. It's going to be an exciting time. Never been a better time to be alive, in my opinion. So excited for the future. Also, Canadian recreational cannabis sales rise in October to 448.6 million. And then Ukrainian lawmakers approve medical marijuana legalization bill, sending it to President Zelensky. And they talk about how, a lot of people are basically, super affected by the war that's going on. Obviously, they have PTSD, and this is a big push for them. So they talk about epilepsy as well. So again, it's great for anxiety, PTSD, epilepsy, and seizures. And there's so many, like I said, so many studies and research being done that we just continue to learn more and more each and every day. And the citizens of Ukraine could definitely use it, in my opinion, and not just Ukraine, but citizens everywhere, right? This is medicine of the future. So let's just give people what they want. And times are changing and things need to change. It's time for change. High Tide opens their 160th Canna Cabana location. Wow, super bullish on High Tide. I own it, and this is another company I'm very, very excited for their future. Very, very impressed with this company, and it was the first on Tsuut'ina Nation. I think that's how you pronounce that. But yeah, this company is growing in strides and definitely going to be one of the long-term winners, in my opinion. Also, Body and Mind ekes out profit in first quarter of new fiscal year. And wrapping up, we had some massive news. Biden expands MJ pardons with new proclamation covering offenses on federal properties, and this is This was a follow-up to him calling on HHS to do their rescheduling review, and then also pardoning a bunch of offenses about a year ago. And it goes to show that this administration definitely is committed to some sort of reform, but they're doing it in a crawl, walk, run approach. So let's see if the Biden administration can surprise the world really into, maybe even 420, we get rescheduling news, and then we get, safer banking, uplisting to the NYSE and the NASDAQ. But like I said, I think there's a good chance that coming up on the next year's election year and all these political campaigns, I think are going to have MJ at the forefront. And right now, MJ, and I'm not political, I'm not, on either side of the aisle. I'm Canadian, for, to be 100% honest. I could care less who really wins. I just want what's best for the MJ industry. And right now, Biden is not the favorite running, and he could turn to MJ again. And I did a video on this. I mentioned in a previous video that a lot of people are thinking that he could potentially turn to MJ, and the only reason why he even got elected in the first place and Dems took control of the Senate was because of MJ. And Earl Blumenauer mentioned that, and I did a video on that as well, and he had a major bold prediction where he thinks this is the decade where the U.S. legalizes it federally. So you can check out that video on retiring Earl Blumenauer. Also, Trulieve announces appointment of Wes Getman as Chief Financial Officer. And then just a couple more pieces here. Trees Corporation files for CCAA protection. So another Canadian company filing for under the Creditors Arrangement Act. So again, these troubling times continue. And like I said, I think it's going to be a trend that isn't going to slow, at least for another couple of years. And this is going to entice and motivate and light a fire under the feds here in Canada to do something. And like I said, I think the biggest thing right now hindering the industry is going to be excise tax, improvements to excise tax. All right, that's pretty much it. Going to end it there. It's Rod with Pow Group. Thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth. Let me know what you think of this news. I always love covering the news because it's mind-boggling how much actually comes out in the run of a week. And like I said, I cherry pick all of the news articles, and I can't, possibly cover every single thing. The videos would be hours in length, but hopefully you enjoy this. Let me know in the comments below if you enjoy this new format. I really do love and enjoy, putting it all together and doing it. And I just, like I said, this is my passion. This is my calling, and I truly believe that I was put on this earth to spread the word and medicine of the future. So going to end it there. I hope you have a fantastic holiday weekend ahead, and we'll see you again on the next video.